Today we're learning all about the Central Massachusetts Limb Loss Support Group. What we've learned so far is that the mission of the group is to reach out to people with limb loss and provide a supportive environment. Now before we get to our next guest, we visited a special friend of ours, Monica George, at her home in Ayer, Massachusetts to share a unique story with you. Take a look.
I know a lot of people look at it as, I'm not the same. No, you're not. You're just a better version. Inside, you're still the same person.
For Monica George, the past year has been a blur of overwhelming numbers. 37 surgeries, 4 limbs lost, continuing rehabilitation, 1 new baby, 1 wedding, and an appearance on the Oprah Winfrey Show.
I went in to have my second child, and she was delivered C-section, and we're still not quite sure what happened, but I ended up being life-flighted to Mass General, and I had necrotizing fasciitis.
The mom of 2 has struggled with a flesh-eating bacteria that has left her limbless, and Monica has had to put major effort into relearning the simple tasks of everyday life.
I came home December 15th, 2007, and I just kind of stayed in my own little world at home, and we've tried to adjust to life the way it is now.
The infection was discovered just after she gave birth on August 9th when she became ill with stomach pains, a fever, and no bowel movements. By the time a helicopter had flown her to Mass General Hospital in Boston, the bacteria had already consumed most of her abdominal wall.
They had to remove organs, my entire abdomen wall, everything. My entire abdomen right now is just covered with skin grafts. So people see the limb loss, but they don't see the whole picture.
It's not surprising that when the Oprah producers saw a Boston Globe magazine story last winter detailing her disease and rehabilitation, they jumped to get her on the program.
It was a whirlwind. It really was. It just happened so fast, and everybody was so incredibly nice.
George has adapted to her prosthetic legs and has learned to walk and balance even without any abdominal muscles. George has been fitted for an iLimb hand, a prosthetic hand with fingers that respond to the electrical signals generated by her arm muscles. The iLimb hand helps Monica get through everyday activities, such as opening the fridge, the oven, and even eating with a fork. This 36-year-old mother considers herself lucky for having an easygoing baby who doesn't cry that much and is a pretty good sleeper. She also has a 10-year-old daughter, Madeline, from a previous marriage who has adapted quite well to this new lifestyle.
I still help with homework, and I'm doing more cooking, and now I'm tackling diaper duty.
These days, George is a smiling, happy mother who loves to horse around with her daughters and makes everyone she meets forget her troubles.
The point that I always try and get across is, okay, so I've lost my arms and I've lost my legs, but anybody that sits down and talks with me that knew me before, I'm still the same person, and it doesn't have to end with the amputation.
She cooks and she cleans with the help of a nurse's aide, and she showers during her baby's naps.
If it were just the amputations, I think I'd be able to do a lot more, but because I have to worry about the abdomen area, I am limited to what I can do.
Monica does admit that she couldn't have gotten through what she went through without support, the Limb Loss Support Group to be exact.
They know what you're going through, and they're there to talk about it, and they're just an amazing group of people. They're wonderful.
The group has keyed George into a lot of information that she normally would not have known.
Nobody's going to tell you what's out there. A lot of places don't tell you what's new out there, but they do.
At a recent Christmas party, George even danced with fellow members.
And you don't feel out of place because the other people that are dancing are like you, so it's good. You don't have to feel like, oh, I'm going to dance funny. But it's okay if you don't dance quite right.
Just by being with Monica, you can't help but feel happy and maybe a little bit of an attitude adjustment due to her amazing smile and can-do way of life.
I'm home. I still get to be with my husband. I still get to see my children grow up, and that's worth everything to be. So I have the bright side of life because I can still see all that.
We now have our next guest, Hudson resident Donna Silva. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having us.
All right, so Donna, I understand you are a recent amputee.
Yes, I had my below the knee left leg amputation September of 2007. Okay. So it's just over a year.
And as Monica, we showed in the story, she's very recent. She's just a year, and she lost all 4 of her limbs. So it's, you know, for her, it was a very abrupt thing, and the support group has really helped her. So how did you hear about the limb loss support group?
I actually have known Rose forever. I used to babysit for her kids when they were really little, and I was just a young teen. And through friends and family and stuff, I had known that she had been in a car accident and she had lost her leg. And she kept in contact with some family friends of mine, hearing what was going on with me and my leg. And then when I had the amputation, she came over to visit me at the rehab hospital I was in.
Okay. So what has this group done for you to make that transition smoother and more positive for you?
I think talking to another amputee is so much different than talking to a doctor who has 2 legs and 2 arms, or talking to a prosthetician that has all his limbs. You know, there's certain situations that you find yourself in saying, well, how do you handle this? You know, and they can tell you, a doctor or a prosthetician can tell you from what they know, from what people have told them, and what they learn in books. But I think if you're sharing one-on-one with someone else who has lost a limb, they can tell you what has worked best for them from experience and not from a book.
And so maybe the healing process is actually more beneficial that way than actually seeing a doctor, because, like you said, they can really give you real-life experiences and say, yeah, I've been there. They provide that support for you, but also ideas for how to cope.
Mm-hmm.
So do you feel that the group has helped you cope?
Absolutely, yes.
In what ways?
Sometimes, even if you're going through things with insurance and you have to battle for things that you should hope that will come naturally, you know, and you can say, I feel like I'm losing my leg all over again. Mm-hmm. And they say, yeah, you do. Mm-hmm. You know, so somebody validates what you're feeling, mm-hmm. and they understand. Even situations, how do you go swimming? You know, how do you get in and out of a pool if you're going swimming? Do you go in the ocean with your leg or without your leg? And how do you clean your leg after you come out of the ocean and get rid of all the sand and the salt that accumulates in the bottom part of your feet? And do you have your nails painted as well? Or, you know, so, and where can you get half-price pedicures? Mm-hmm. So it does. It really helps helping someone else and someone else helping you.
And Monica was saying, you know, she loves to camp. She thought she'd never be able to camp again. But through the support group, they've given her tons of places that are handicap accessible, and she wouldn't have known that without the support of the group.
There's a lot of information that we give each other that you would never think of looking for.
Right. What's something that you went, oh, you know, that, thank gosh I'm in this group so I could hear that?
Oh, there's so many different things.
Is there one that stands out in your mind?
I think if we start having some type of breakdown in your leg, how do they handle it and still be able to wear a leg and to get on with your day? Mm-hmm. You know, if you can't put on your leg, you really have limitations. Right. And if you have a sore or something going on medically, how do they handle it so you know what you could try to do to help yourself do it? I think just the fellowship in the meeting room and people sharing and people laughing at situations. There was one time I fell and I slipped on ice, and it wasn't this leg, it was one of my first legs, and it was a cold winter night, and my leg was at the end of the ramp and I was on my butt and it was dark and I had my phone and I was on my way to go pick up one of my kids, and it's like, oh, this has got to be like a candid camera moment, and you know, and just sharing that and to be able to laugh about it.
Right.
You know, and they said, oh yeah, we've done that too.
Laughter's